Hello, everyone. It's Kaz and Zach,
Hi.
and we are here for our annual Christmas message. This year, we have decided to talk about the origins of Santa Claus. And I will pass it over to my boyfriend, Zach.
Yeah, so Santa Claus, as sort of a figure of myth and folklore and popular culture, I think is what we would call a syncretic character, which means that he is the result of lots of different sort of cultural and religious currents intermingling over the centuries. And so you can see some of the origins of the sort of current figure that we know as Santa Claus in the very early Christian church. There was a bishop, St. Nicholas. You know, St. Nick is one of Santa Claus's many alter egos, but St. Nicholas was a Greek bishop in Turkey in the late 3rd century AD, so early Christian figure, early church leader. And I guess the myth surrounding him was that he was a big-time gift giver. And so festivals of St. Nicholas were held where people would exchange gifts. And so you can see some parallels already with the figure we know. And several centuries after St. Nicholas lived, you had the Protestant Reformation led by Martin Luther in Germany in the early 1500s. And Martin Luther was opposed to having days dedicated to saints because he saw it as sort of not giving the proper due to God and to Christ. Saw it as almost a polytheistic deal, worshiping multiple gods. So the idea of a day of gift giving on St. Nicholas's birth became, under Martin Luther's influence, a Christmas celebration to celebrate Christ's birth. But the connection between gift giving and St. Nicholas survived that Lutheran innovation. And so we have that figure as an early Santa Claus prototype. And the Dutch had their own, St. Nicholas celebrations, and apparently the Dutch translation of St. Nicholas is Sinterklaas. And so you can sort of see right there how that warped and evolved by English speakers to become Santa Claus today. But Santa Claus isn't just an updated version of St. Nicholas. You can see other historical, cultural, religious influences that sort of got poured into the pot to create the Santa Claus that we see today. One of them is Father Christmas, who was an English figure originating probably during the reign of Henry VIII, who just sort of looked very similar, was depicted in artwork similar to the modern Santa Claus, big jolly guy wearing a big heavy winter cloak. It was green though, as opposed to red. And during the period called the Commonwealth, when after the English Civil War, the monarchy was temporarily abolished, and you had rule by Oliver Cromwell in England, who was a Puritan, very strict Protestant. The celebration of Christmas was actually banned. It's made illegal because it was seen as sort of an excuse to drink and have premarital sex and do all sorts of not particularly holy things. And so during that period, the figure of St. Nicholas actually became more popular because he was used as sort of a symbol of the pre-Puritan days of everything that was lost when Cromwell took power, of the good old days of England of wassailing and celebrating. So that figure, that character, Father Christmas, became more influential, became part of the Christmas mythology, and sort of merged with the pre-existing gift-giving tradition of St. Nicholas or Sinterklaas or Santa Claus. And then one more sort of syncretic element, one more sort of religious figure, mythological figure that went into the combination that became Santa Claus is Odin or Wotan, the Norse and Northern German king of the gods, who was sort of a wizard type figure, long beard, but he was associated with the festival of Yule, which was a pre-Christian winter celebration, and he was known for gift giving, and he was also associated with reindeer. So you can see how the idea of an old bearded man who gives gifts and rides in a sleigh pulled by reindeer was adopted by people who celebrated Christmas. They, as Northern Europe converted to Christianity, a lot of these pre-existing Odin myths could be combined into the Christmas traditions. And so you put all those things together and you produce a figure like Santa Claus. And then you add into that pop culture, like the Clement Clarke Moore poem, A Visit from St. Nick, also known as 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, that established a lot of the Santa Claus lore that we all know today, the stockings, the reindeer's names, him coming down the chimney. Then another pop culture influence in the development of the character is the art, the cartoons drawn by Thomas Nast in various magazines, including Harper's in the late 19th century. So you can see now how the jolly fellow that we know today as Santa Claus is really the end result of a very complex process of cultural development, really, of different religious and cultural traditions merging together. And you can see that in a lot of things that exist in our religious and cultural traditions. So I think I've said enough. Caroline?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I remember when I was a kid, it was either St. Nicholas or Santa Claus or Father Christmas. And I'm just trying to think whether there's anything else. And, just with what Zach was saying, he's covered all of them. The St. Nicholas, Father Christmas, and Santa Claus. So it is. I find it quite fascinating. And we always like to bring something a little bit insightful when we do our videos. So I hope you enjoyed that, and have a happy Christmas. I heard today is SantaCon, actually, for the Americans. They will know what that is. Yeah, there'll be lots of Santas running around the streets today. So we thought we would wish you a happy Christmas and give you a little bit of insight around the origins of Santa, and see you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.